just to put eyeballs on it. Somebody had sent a Facebook message or something complaining about some miscut counters. And I thought, maybe I should go take a look and just make sure that I don't have a problem. Don't want it to sit up on the shelf and I don't notice until later. But I actually got the Minden game.
Yes, I was going to ask you about Minden because I saw Mark Ruggiero had posted a video.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he got a copy of it, and so he was showing some of the elements and stuff like that. So it looks like it's a really nice looking game.
Well, first of all, I was gonna say I punched out the counters. I did not punch out the counters.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at them sternly, and they fell out into my hands. I mean, really, I had to gently push on a couple of them, but nearly all of them, it was just breathe, and they would just fall into your hand, and you just go, okay, great. And so I was laying them out on the table of organization for each army, and it's really interesting. It's a clever way of doing it. Instead of making you learn all these insane names of all these commanders,
right?
The brigades are all numbered.
Okay.
And the battalions are all numbered. Well, I say battalions, I don't know what they are. Anyway, the individual units which form a brigade are all numbered. The brigade is also numbered. And so like, for example, the French first column, all the units in it will start with a 1.
Okay.
The first brigade will be 110. If there's another brigade, it would be 120. And then the individual units in the brigade are 121, 122, 123.
Oh, okay.
And there actually is a brigade counter, which is 2 or 3 hexes wide, that contains all of the units under normal circumstances, kind of ideal circumstances. And so it kind of reinforces that linear sort of aspect, because you get benefits from being in brigade, they call it, where none of the components have either gotten shaken or panicked or have for whatever reason moved away from the rest of the brigade. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to see how this all works. The other thing that I just noticed is that there are 2 counters for every unit, because there's a separate counter for when the unit is shaken or panicked. Panicked being
okay.
Effectively. So instead of putting a marker on top of the unit, you just replace the unit with the version that you need for that circumstance. And so I think it's going to be really clean looking.
Well, and I heard, at least from what Mark was saying, the counters and the artwork look really, really sharp. And he said the counters were like really thick.
They are. They're really thick. And like I said, no trimming or rounding necessary. I mean, they are absolutely right-angled squares, crisp, no anything. Very, very nice. So the other interesting part about it is it's just artwork on the counters.
Okay.
If you actually want to know anything about the unit, there's like a separate chart. So what is that? That's 311? Okay, 311. Okay. Under this condition, it's this strength, and if it's by itself and not in the brigade, it's this strength. If it's shaken, if it's panicked, and so on.
Right.
So they kind of got away from, obviously that's one of the things about La Bataille, right? I hate having to flip the counter on fine stuff. Well, in this case, there's nothing on the counter. Right. I mean, there's just the identity and the coat of arms and stuff like that, and they're very pretty to look at. But yeah, so the counters are very interesting, and kind of a clear kind of strategy by the designer that I don't want all these pretty pieces covered up with lots of markers. Okay, that's fair. The one ding I have is that the map looks awful.
Oh, that's too bad.
And he says an improved map is coming out with the Torgau game, which he says started shipping like today.
And you ordered that one too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, because I thought, what the heck, right? Torgau's, I mean, I don't know anything about Minden. In fact, I spent part of the day today just reading a lot of the historical material that comes with the game, which was great because I don't know that battle at all. But the Torgau was more interesting to me, but I just thought I'd get Minden because why not?
Right.
But it just the map just looks like it was a JPEG that got pushed too far.
Uh,
There's artifacts all around, and he says that he's got an improved map that's much crisper. I will take him at his word. It's not going to be the prettiest map anyway, but that's fine. I mean, I can live with it. It does kind of have a period feel, so that's all right. Anyway, so yeah, and I had kind of hoped to get to pushing some counters today, but I didn't. I was spent too much time on the roof doing house maintenance, and so I didn't quite get around to that. But it's all over the table, and now I'm getting excited because I've been handling the bits and putting them all out on the table, and I'm trying to figure out how the game system works. So
right.
yeah, so that's good stuff. And then obviously once I've had a chance to play with it a little bit, I'll get Allow out on the table.
Okay, well that sounds good. I got the Allow one out and put that on the table, and all those counters were just they were so easy to punch out. You just kind of just tap
Yeah.
them and bang, 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 and they've got
Yeah, and
nice
they're
rounded edges and
pre-rounded.
everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
So
Those are nice.
yeah, so I've got the order of battle set up. I read through the rules, and it looks like it should be a fairly quick playing game, if nothing else, just because the combat has been really, I think, very much streamlined.
Okay.
You've got sort of fire attacks for adjacent, musketry, and then you've got your
Yeah.
artillery. And then if you're doing any assaults or charges, it's really the guy makes a morale check, and if he succeeds, then that nothing happens. And if he fails, then he loses. He gets defensive fire first. Um,
Okay.
but if he succeeds, then it's just a push. They both counters just stay where they're at, staring at each other.
Interesting.
And then if you fail, then you take a loss and you bounce away. Um,
Okay.
and so you're not calculating odds I mean, you are looking kind of at odds. Okay, it's a 3-to-1 attack or it's a 2-to-1. But that's just based on the size of the units. And then that's just
Right.
going to modify your ability to pass your morale check. So there's no
So you're not
actual morale, combat table. I mean, melee combat table.
right.
It's just, did you pass your check? Great. Nothing
Interesting.
happens. If you failed,
Yeah.
then you take a loss and you go away. So
Okay.
yeah, so really kind of straightforward. I mean, it looks like the only downside that an attacker has is if they get if they make the attack, they maybe take a loss on the defensive fire portion of it, but otherwise it doesn't look like there's any downside for attacking, and the attacker doesn't have to make a morale check. You just say, I'm
Weird.
making an assault or I'm making a charge.
Huh.
And then you do it. And then the other guy's got to, stand. So
Interesting.
yeah. So
Although of
it'll be
course he's
interesting.
doing the same thing to you in return, so I guess it all.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how it plays. I'm going to try to
Yeah.
set up one of the basic scenarios and kind of mess around with it a little bit and see what I can figure out, kind of get a flavor for it. But looks really nice. The
Well, it
counters are
certainly
really nice.
seemed
The
that
map's really nice.
simplicity was kind of what he was after, so it would check out that would be what you'd see.
Yeah. And so it doesn't seem to have like reaction charges or anything like that.
Okay.
You know,
A lot
you
of the minutia that
yeah,
really gets you
yeah,
ground down.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it doesn't have skirmishers, or I mean, it obviously has units that were skirmishers technically in reality, but there's no skirmisher rules or anything like that. They're just treated
Oh,
as
I
regular
see.
infantry
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you'll just have to accept that you're going to have, your your cleaning out a little bit of the level of detail in the interest of just kind of moving the game along.
Yeah, so I think what he said, I was kind of reading through some of the designer notes. It was the case where, okay, this, we don't have skirmishers, but I made the French units a little bit better because they were using more skirmishers during this time period. And he says for the ones that I'm doing in 1815 games, everyone's got skirmishers. So no, at this point in time, everybody's using the same thing the French were using.
No particular
There's
benefit
no
then,
particular
yeah.
benefit for anybody at that point. And it's just, as you said, he's trying to make it a little bit faster playing. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I figured we could, I'll have to take a look at the vassal module that they have for it, and maybe we can mess around with it a little bit before
Yeah,
we get together there at Consim, so that way
right.
we work out any kinks or any questions, get those resolved
You bet.
earlier. Yeah.
You bet. Yeah. No, I definitely would like to get it on the table a little bit myself, but sure, yeah, some vassal work just so we're on the same page would be great, just so we can take best advantage of the face-to-face time.
Yep, exactly.
Very good.
Well, speaking of which, we've got our usual companions here with us. We've got Mr. David Plock. We've got Rick White. We've got Perry. How is everyone doing today?
Good, good.
All right.
Good. Thank you for asking.
Well,
I was trying to think of something funny and witty, but I got nothing.
What can you say?
I'm listening to the conversation, and this Torgau is from a company called Ad Hoc in Europe.
Yes,
That's
correct.
right.
Yeah. It's you know about the company. It sounds like you like the game there. But,
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm still at the looking at bits, not actually playing anything yet. So I don't know how it'll play, but it certainly. I'm given to understand that this fella has been working on this game series for a long, long time. So it's one of those labor of love things, and it'll be. I think it'll just be fascinating to another system that's really talking about 7 Years' War battles, just because it's not really something you get a lot of detail on. And this looks like he's got some kind of different philosophy, which I guess the different philosophy makes sense. Because after all, Bar is based on La Bataille, and La Bataille, what started in what, 78?
Yeah, or earlier. And it was
Or
based on
earlier.
like miniature kind of games. So the idea
Yeah.
was it was, miniatures without the miniatures. And so there's a lot
Right.
of concepts from, and that's why we have so many markers, because with a miniature game, you're marking off
Okay.
how many
Yeah,
hits are
sure.
happening to each base,
Uh-oh.
and then who's disordered, routed, etc.
Right.
So, all right. Well, cool. Well, I think as you said, we got stuff here to do still to finish up this exciting turn.
Yeah, I think we do. I see a finish marker next to the king, which reminds me
Yes,
that I
he
think he
fell
has
off his
taken a
horse.
powder.
Yep, he got his foot
And-
stuck in the stirrup, and
So
his
I
hat
think
blew
the
off.
Austrians are at +2.
Yep, we're
then
at +2.
for the initiative rolls.
We
And
are.
so I
We
guess,
are.
as is customary, I will chuck some dice and we'll see what happens.
Yep,
Chucked.
of course, and you get a special result right off the bat.
Naturellement.
All right, which one's this? Oh, free combat for the Austrians. Oh, well, that should be fun.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really
We get to
disappointing.
take some shots at you. And I got to pick who's going to take shots. So let me zoom in here and see where the heck I'm at.
Usually taking shots is more fun if memory serves.
Yeah, well, I want to definitely some shots here. Let's see. So we've got Starnberg has got a bunch of people right up in his face, so he can shoot at some people there. Or I've got my 12 pounders, which You've kind of wisely moved everyone away from them. Yeah, I think I'll probably take a shot with Steinberg's forces. So
Okay.
he's over here.
Yeah.
So those guys,
Right.
these guys,
Right.
yeah, and then everybody else belongs to a different command. So
Right.
yep.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Okay, so we'll just what should we do? We'll just get started here. I guess we'll have this guy fire on that guy.
Does he have to put himself in command or anything?
I don't
Nope.
think this
It's a
one
free-
requires it. I think
it's
it
a
is just
free fire.
The only thing is that it can only be done once per turn for a command. But
Yep.
but there is no need to roll initiative.
Yeah. So so we'll take a shot here. So that's going to be a 1-to-1 shot. No pluses, no
Right.
minuses. A 92 at 1-to-1.
Is a hit.
It's probably at least a hit. And a morale check, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 1 hit and a morale check.
Is it really just one?
Yeah, it just says 1 hit, right?
I'll be darned.
So
Whoops.
because it's 1-to-1, it's a 92, and it's not op fire; it's just regular fire, right?
No, it is. It
Left-hand
is. I'm
side.
just
Yeah.
Oh, I already added it.
Oh. That explains why it was there twice. Much better.
Yeah. So that.
Okay.
And a
All right.
35 minus your 7.
Actually, it's probably worse than that. Because it's because he's got somebody in his flank. So actually, it's going to be plus 17. So I think he's shaken.
Yeah.
All right, and then I've got this guy here. He's got.
No, he's in the wrong command.
Oh, is he?
He's
Yeah,
ST?
he's
Oh, he's
SI.
SI. Oh, okay. No
Yeah,
worries.
he just
then.
kind of
Oh, yeah, he
filtered
was
up
the
from
one
the back.
who pushed up there. Okay. All right. Well, then I got this one here. So that's going to be. I got the howitzers split between the 2 hexes, so I'll have 6 infantry firing. And do I combine them all, or when they're point blank like this, or I still split them?
No, it only defensive fire is combined, so it would actually still be two different firing
Okay.
rolls.
So we'll do the howitzers first. So the howitzers are going to be 12 to 10, so a 1-to-1 shot. And an 87 at 1-to-1 is another hit, but no morale check.
Okay.
Oh, he's got a 5 on him already. So
Yeah, so he would go down to. So now when the infantry fire, they're going to be 18 to 10, 1.5 to 1 with a -5 because now you've only got 3 increments. So 1.5 to 1 with a -5. Oh, it's a special result. Defensive fire. No, that's not it.
Oh no, it's
Infantry
not
fire.
defensive fire.
Free
Right,
fire.
right.
Roll 2 times. The firing units are disordered.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I fired twice, and there's a little star next to it.
Oh, it's a roll for a leader casualty.
Okay.
Which
should I do first?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't honestly know, but I think, well, just roll for the leader.
Okay, so I just roll 1 die. Here we go.
I think so. Yeah.
4. So this is in the line of fire. Roll for each enemy leader in or adjacent to the target hex. I don't think you've got anybody
Right,
there.
exactly.
So,
So
we
it's
just ignore
moot.
that.
So just go ahead and roll. It's what'd you say? 1.5
1.5 to 1
-5.
minus 5, and we roll that twice. So a 14 is a miss, and a double odd.
Well, you can't get a special
Oh, you
result
can't
on a
get
special result.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So
and
that's
then you're disordered.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Let me find a mark for him. Okay. Cool.
All right.
And I've got these 6-pounders here. They're with Stalinberg, so they can at least fire.
Yeah. Right.
And we got some targets out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we could fire at this stack of cavalry here at a range of 6. They're going to be times 3, so it's going to be 6. So it's 1 to 2, and you've got, I think, 8 increments there.
Yeah.
So
So
that
plus
becomes
10.
16. So that becomes plus 20. So.
Oh, sorry.
Right, because
Yes.
it's cavalry. All right, so 1 to 2 with a plus 20. 71 becomes a 91, and that's enough for a single hit.
All right.
All right, and I will go find a little mark to put here on Stalinberg,
Right.
so we know he
Right.
cannot do any magical stuff like that again.
No more magic. All right, and I will roll again, this time with feeling.
83.
And
That's a big one
does-
for us, and it doesn't move the
does
clock.
that- It doesn't, because we need to
a
exceed
12 or
11.
more. Yeah, we need a 12 or higher, I think.
Yeah, you do. You're right.
So.
Okay. All right.
All right, so let's see here. We've got
And that should be a wing, right?
But probably.
a wing and a prayer. I don't have any wings to activate at the moment, so because I've already kind of split stuff up, so I don't know that I can do any wingish things. Let's see. Well, we still have to do stuff with Mohawk over on that side of the universe. So I'm going to, I will activate Mohawk over here on my right wing. I guess I have to roll for him to see if he puts himself in initiative. He does not, so no rapid marches, right?
Right. No moving into zones of control and so on.
Okay, so we're going to move this guy.
Doesn't mean a lot, but
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 gets him there. Let's see. We're going to do a line backup here.
okay.
And so that's the only thing we're doing. So let's make our disorder check. We're disordered.
Oh, I believe so.
Yeah, it's the story of our life. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. It's the Austrian
Murphy
way.
was an optimist, as they say.
Exactly. The Austrian
Get it out
way.
of your system before consim.
Is that it? That's true. That's true. I tend to be luckier with the French than the Austrians. Well, the Austrians, they kind of had mixed luck there at Prague. They weren't as bedeviled as they have been here, I would say. Cool.
Speaking of which, I'm wearing my Prague T-shirt. Not really playing Prague, but whatever.
All right. Trying to figure out if I can make a circle here. I guess I could try. So this guy here, let me So he's going to go 1, and then he goes here 2, and then he can turn again. That's 3, and then he can go there. That's 4, and then he can go there. That's 5. No, that's not going to get him where he wants to be. I'm trying to figure out how to get him. Well, okay, I know what I'll do. I'll turn this guy, so he'll go 1, and then this was 2, 3 to turn 2 points, right?
Yep.
And then 4, 5 to go there, and then 6, and then that's it for him. And then this guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and then I got people back in the back. I wonder if they're still there. Oh, I do. Okay, I guess I should roll for these poor guys. So I got this guy here and this guy here. So the guy that's disordered, is there a special result for disorder? For a morale check, recovery for disorder?
No, not on
Just
recoveries.
Okay.
There are no special
All
results
right,
on
and then
recoveries
this
or
guy over
rallies.
here, 51. Well, he might be recovered. He's still shaken. Okay, he's better. Okay. All right, so these guys can move half since they're out of command. So that's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 gets him there. And if they're out of command and disordered, it's still just half, right?
Still just half movement, that's right.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, and yeah, we'll leave them there until they can figure out what they're going to do. All right, this guy here can go 1, 2, 3, and 4 puts him there.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I doing that correctly or not?
No, and I am struggling with something that you did before that David sounded like he agreed with, and I'm struggling because I don't think I agree, but I'm having a hard time finding anything that really says exactly.
Which is what?
You had a unit that moved 1 hex point.
Yes.
And you said that cost 1, and yeah, well, I think we'd all agree that that's true. And then you moved another hex point, same unit, same direction, and then you said 2, 3 for that.
Right. Didn't you say somewhere on the thing that it cost that, or did I misunderstand something?
The way I interpret it is different than that. My interpretation is that if you want to move 2 hex points, that's the 2. Not that the first one cost you 1 and the next one cost you 2. But I can't really find any place that really specifically says that. Because the
there is
rule
a
just
place
kind of
on
points
that. I vaguely know where it is.
I don't know. I was just looking while you were doing your movement. And
I think where we had seen it was on the bar formation fire arc ZOC change facing diagram. There was something down in the bottom.
Oh, okay. Maybe there's something that I missed when we were looking.
So I don't know if it's for everybody because it only shows. Well, it shows cavalry units and infantry units, but for infantry units, it looked like it cost 3 to turn the 2 hex facing.
But where do you get the idea that it's that it's
Oh, but that's
additive.
Americans and French infantry.
Well,
Okay.
well, that's part of the problem. There is that there are different charts for some armies that don't do so good. But I what I'm not seeing is anywhere that tells me
Okay, so yeah.
And the truth is I don't see anything that says that. So all I'm saying is that is not my understanding. That I believe that if you want to move 2, then you look at 2 hexes around and you say the cost is 2.
Is 2. Okay.
Not that it's 1 and then 2. It's kind of like 1 and then 1. But you do notice, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, if you do an about face, that's all, period.
Right.
And so anyway, for my take,
so that makes sense. So then is that, unless you found something else?
No, I haven't found anything else. So in my mind, what you did actually cost you more points than you needed to pay. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're fine.
Yeah.
That's weird because I mean that's what I was calculating when I was moving that the cavalry on the last turn. I was removing up the ones just
Really. I guess I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it then. I sure don't think that's right. Unfortunately, all the rule says is use the table. Use the chart.
Well,
the chart says here it is.
Looking at the chart,
it doesn't really tell you how to interpret it.
Yeah, but like looking at the chart where you've got the really bad, like the French infantry and the American infantry, it's very clear that, I mean, obviously, if you're going to about face, sure, that's costing. But if you're turning 2 points, then it's costing you 3 movement points. So I see that. I could see where that would be. But looking at it, you say, okay, well, the first one cost 1. But then how could the Americans or anybody turn? They'd spend 2 and then they'd spend 5 to try to turn 2.
You'd end up having to rapid march to even make 2 points of turn in 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. It's already pretty punitive to have to pay for every hex point turn. I mean, you, a Labatt player, should know that as well as anybody, right?
Well,
but I think that's more punitive than is necessary, and I wish that I could find something that made it very clear. But I'm taking it as you want to turn all the way around, it's everything. You want to turn 1, it's 1. You want to turn 2, it's 2. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've been misreading it all this time.
Yeah, no.
If only we could just pop something up onto Consim.
Yep, and just ask for some clarification. I'm sure that would take care of it. All right,
carry on.
I think that takes care of him. I think we've moved everybody over there on that part of the universe that belongs to him that can move. I think everybody else. I don't know that there's anybody else that's part of his command. All those other people, I think, belong to somebody else. Yeah, they belong to BD. Okay. Cool. All right. So I will flip him over, and we will consider ourselves, if I can find him, done. Okay. Back to me, I guess, to roll some dice.
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay. And this is a big one for you.
Oh.
You guys get a wing activation.
Do we want a wing activation? I don't know. Well,
I don't have a wing, so.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. So let's see. We've got a lot of cavalry out there. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I even want a wing. We got a couple more that we can go down the line there. Shape. Um, I don't know. I think may put Meineke up here. I think that's maybe what I think I ought to do. Hey, by the way, just out of curiosity, he doesn't have a finish marker on him. I don't really. I guess he was probably getting moved with your guys.
I don't think
David,
he fired because you had your troops here in front of him, right? So I don't know that he's fired yet. I know these guys fired, but I don't think this guy did because you had
no, I
Prussians.
mean, and that's fair. But I mean, did they prolong, or have they just haven't done anything because they were waiting for a chance to do something? I don't really know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know either.
But if they're not marked, and I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, so of course we don't remember. I just thought it was funny. It's like, huh, what's he doing? Whatever. All good times. He can wait for those guys to route past him, and then he can make his way on up. So, all right. Well, I think, David, I guess you don't need anything urgently.
No, not that I can see here.
You're not screaming urgently to get Holson up there. Come to grips with the enemy? No. Come on, the 25% of you that are left from the original command, surely you're ready to go, aren't you? You've had, what, an hour to just kind of relax back there behind the Swedish field works. Jeez.
They figured that was their whole contribution to the battle.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, we've done our part. It's the rest of you guys.
You got them, boys.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, that's fine. Then maybe I'll just do Meineke and it'll be fun. We'll have a good.
Where is Meineke? I don't even know who he is.
Right there by those. He's the guy who does the mufflers, dude.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's who we want. So we're going to just see how much we get into here. But, of course, he's in command, so don't need to worry about rolling that.
Well, is he in command, though? Because the king is out of sorts.
Oh, you're quite right. My bad. Absolutely. No, of course he's not in command. As a result of that, he would definitely.
But he's in command anyway.
He definitely is better than that.
He's feeling very initiative.
He sees an opportunity.
Exactly. I have a cunning plan.
It is so cunning indeed. All right, well, let's see. So no need to recover from disorder. I think he's just in these two hexes, if memory serves. So we'll just go ahead and move then. 1. No. No. Thinking, still thinking. Working.
Computing.
Okay. Working. All right, so that's going to be 1. Should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. That's what we want. And we'll go ahead and do. No, that's what I want. And now we're going to go ahead and do a charge attempt.
Okay.
2, 3, 4. I got a charge range of 4, right?
Yes,
Been
you
playing
do.
too many games. Good Lord. All right, so here we go with +7.
Who is trying to do the charge?
Just the one.
Oh,
leader.
okay.
So +7 minus whatever the leader is, and boom.
I think you did it.
Don't even need to look that one up. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3.
All right, I think I get a shot at you, maybe, as you go from that guy.
There,
right?
For sure.
So at a range of 3, you are, those are 6-pounders, so that's times 7. And I guess just one increment, so it's going to be 7 to 10.
Do the howitzers get a shot too?
Yeah,
Oh,
although
yeah.
so that's kind of frustrating, right? Because um, what the rule says is that in the case of disorder, only 2 strength points can fire from a hex rather than 4. Um, so the weird part about that is in this case, it's no penalty at all. In other words, it doesn't mean that your fire strength is halved. What the rule specifically says is the number of strength points that can fire. Well, of course, in this case, it was only going to be 1 strength point anyway.
Right.
So there's no penalty at all, which is kind of goofy, if you ask me.
So
But
the
whatever.
howitzer will add in 3. So 7 and 3. I've got 10. So it's a 1-to-1 shot on you, I guess, as you move from there to there.
Okay, plus
and then you've
a
got
fair
what?
amount.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a plus 20 at least, right? You've got 9,
18.
18. Yeah, so it's going to be a plus 20. All right, here we go.
Mhm.
95 plus 20
Holy
becomes
smokes.
105 on opportunity fire.
No, it's 115.
Okay, yes. So that is going to be 3 hits,
Wow.
a disorder check, but I guess no morale check since it wasn't even.
Sorry. Yeah, right. It'd be a disorder check for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to be disordered, I guess.
Sure looks like it. And okay, now we're gonna have to look that one up because that's interesting. Okay, let's look. So, with no, this is just opportunity fire.
Yeah,
no.
this is opportunity fire.
Yeah, this is just opportunity fire, even though it's charge movement. It's still just opportunity fire. Just checking. No, that's not what. I'm just struggling here with.
I mean, would the charge end or?
Well, that's the thing. I'm very accustomed to failure disorder check while regular movement, and you get hit and you need to take a disorder check and you fail it, you stop moving.
Right.
I just don't know how that works on charge movement, if that's the same or if it's different. So I'm kind of suddenly questioning myself because I've never actually seen it happen, which is a little
well, good. I'm
confusing.
glad that we can provide.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, opportunity for everyone to learn.
All about.
They don't have the Eric clause. You'll never see this unless you're playing with Eric.
Yeah, that's what it was right
so
there.
So it's page 23, opportunity fire.
Actually, holy smokes, have we been playing this wrong? No. This is why it's never happened. Opportunity fire is a form of fire combat that's performed by reactive units during the movement segment only and does not occur at any other time in the game.
Oh, so it doesn't happen during the charge phase.
Because effectively it all gets wrapped up in defensive fire.
Well, I want to save that 95 roll.
Yeah, don't blame you for wanting to. That's why it's never come up, because it actually literally doesn't count. And I guess the other idea is presumably they're moving more swiftly. You don't have time to fire and reload. load, so you're basically going to save it to the whites of their eyes kind of thing, or maybe plus 20 or, excuse me, plus 10 with cavalry is also to kind of account for the fact that maybe some of it wasn't right there at the last second.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So that's really interesting because it never.
Well, we
was
haven't had an
aware of
occasion
that.
where we've charged our cavalry against anybody who could fire. Because
Exactly.
at Prague,
And
it was just cavalry against cavalry. Here, it's been cavalry
right.
against cavalry.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you?
Fascinating.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you charge my infantry? I didn't think you did before this, or is this the first time you've charged my infantry?
With cavalry?
Yeah.
I think so. I think
Okay.
this is the first time. No. Hold on. No. I was attacking your cavalry out this way.
Yeah.
And I think some of your infantry actually
We moved forward.
into
Because you were
got into
disordered
contact,
or
but I wasn't
shaken
charging
or whatever.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So what it means is reaction charge is the only thing you're watching for
Right.
as you go hex to hex to hex to hex. You don't have to worry about anything else. Fascinating. All right. Well, so I guess that means I end up there because literally nothing else that could happen.
Cool.
Weird. Okay.
And now does he take a morale check and then fire, or is it fire first, then morale check?
No, it should be morale check first, right?
It is morale check first, and the reason it's morale check first, it usually doesn't matter, which is why David's question is a fair one. That usually you're going to still be there to do your shooting anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were shaken before and you fail your morale check and rout, you don't even get to do defense.
Right.
Now, obviously, that's kind of an edge case. It doesn't happen all that often, but it is definitely in that order of morale checks first, then any defensive fire from anybody who's still standing around.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So, right. So we've made contact. So I guess it's time for those morale checks.
So, and then both of these units need to make a morale check since they're both have to be attacked by you, right?
I'm going to have to. I mean, we've reached the point where we've come to individual combat designations. I must attack both of them. Ergo, both of them need to do a defender morale check. By the way, just for what it's worth, this guy gets a -10 because he's got, at least at the moment, he's got units on both of his flanks.
Right.
This guy gets a +10 because he's currently got an enemy in his flank.
Right. And then a plus another 3 for army morale, right?
Well, right, of course, yeah. So one of the things you might consider is that
roll this guy first.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that was very much where I was going, because the idea of having, where is it? It's right here. A line or hook formation is supported when each of its flank hexes contains a friendly unit that is neither routed nor shaken. So in other words, if the other guy, the one who gets a +10 because he does have an enemy in his flank, fails, then the other guy doesn't get the benefit. So yeah, you definitely want to go with the guy who's getting the -10 first. Yep,
okay,
absolutely.
Well, we'll roll for him and see if my luck holds and everyone fails all down the line. 37. I think he'll pass.
Probably going to be
'cause
okay.
I'll get a
Even though
+7.
he does get I'm sorry?
You said it's a +7, right? So it's 10, but I have the +10, but I've got the -3 for the army. 11.
Oh, sorry. So it's -10, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's then +3 for the army, +5 for being disordered.
Oh, okay.
So it's really -2, but unless these guys are 39s.
No, I don't think they are, but let me check here real quick. They are
No,
30s.
they're not. Okay, so they look good.
Okay.
Now the other fellas over here are
what are the howitzers?
Oh, it doesn't matter
doesn't
because the
matter.
infantry roll for them.
Yeah, so if the infantry pass, then
Yeah.
everybody passes. But the howitzers are 25. That's printed right there in the
Yeah,
upper right-hand corner.
that's right. They're actually usually even better. Yeah.
So,
But in this case, we're going to do the Bata Fusiliers, and again, they're going to be rolling on behalf of themselves, and well, they're rolling on behalf of the whole stack.
yeah.
They are going to suffer a +10 because they've got enemy in the flank.
And then another +3 for the army level.
Right. So plus
Okay,
13.
here we go.
altogether.
46.
So he's probably going to have to be
gonna
pretty
pass
bad
too.
for that to be a problem.
I will check here real quick.
I mean, a guy can dream, but ooh, that's close.
That is close.
That was very close. Okay, well, good time.
All right.
All
well,
right,
we've got our
all
95. Oh, actually, we're even better odds against you.
Well, no, it'd definitely be better odds. And now everybody's firing at once.
Oh, okay.
So you've got 2 increments from the right hex, and then 1 increment from the left hex of infantry can
Right.
fire. Because remember, you can only have 2 strength points firing from that left hex because it's disordered.
Right. So I will
So
have
1
let's
and
see.
3 is 9. I mean, 1 and 2 is 9, right?
Well, no, because I've only got 1 increment of artillery here.
No. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You're
so
quite
I'll
right. So
have-
there's 3 infantry
12.
and then 1. So
Yeah.
it's 12. All right. So that's 12. And then you've got
plus 7 for the 6-pounders, so that's going to be 19.
okay, so 19. Okay,
And
and
plus
then
another 6 for the howitzers, so that's going to be 25.
okay. I think there is a 2.5 to 1 on the air combat.
Yeah, there is, and so
chart.
then it's going to be 105 plus, so that's going to be then 4 hits, and then your disorder check, but no morale check.
Okay. So let's see. So disorder check. All right.
So do they make a disorder check even though the top guy got completely wiped out?
Well, yeah. I mean that actually doesn't change anything.
Oh, okay.
But if I'm not sure. I'm not really thrilled about this because, well, I'm not really thrilled about it because it doesn't make any sense for you to keep your die roll and me not to keep my die roll. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm not really clear if it makes sense to keep the die rolls, but you were so keen on it, so we'll go ahead and let you do it. But it doesn't make any sense for me to get to roll again.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
well, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
this
I
whole
mean,
thing is gone.
it's not like I used it for something else. It wasn't like it was a morale check and then I decided to use it for a fire. It was for fire combat and then it was fire combat. But I was just curious
yeah.
if you needed to even bother for the disorder check since
Well,
the
yeah,
guy
I mean,
who took all the hits
this
is
stack.
dead. So I
Well,
didn't know if
come
it's
on.
the stack that takes the result or...
Yeah, I mean, it
Okay.
is. Yeah, I mean, because you're shooting at everybody in the hex. And yes, the guys in the front are the ones taking all the casualties. But if you don't think that 200 troopers and their horses getting shot and running on all pell-mell everywhere isn't going to have the potential of disordering the guys behind them, it seems pretty plausible to me.
Okay, well, now we have to figure out how how combat actually works here. So,
Well, I mean, it's going to work pretty well because it's pretty rare that I'm looking for a 0, but 0 would be nice at this point.
all right, so let me flip my guys over. Well, you're attacking up the slope against both of them, so that's going to have
Well,
some impact, right?
So let's see, you've got 7 total increments,
Yep.
right? Because there's only 1 in the left hex, but there's
So
all
there's
6
6
in the
here.
right hex. Right.
Well, but so, and then do part of these guys help out, or is that only against infantry?
Oh, okay. And this happened last week, but this is subtly different because there isn't empty space in front of the other half of your unit.
Right,
See,
there's a
well,
unit here. Yeah, so that's why I was asking.
yeah, and I don't think you're going to get any benefit from them as a result, and quite reasonably, right? Because they've
Right.
obviously got their own concerns. But let's just double check. So the rule itself says the number of SPs a unit or stat can contribute to a combat is determined as follows. All SPs for each of the unit's hexes that are adjacent to an enemy unit. For single hex formations, that's all of them. And then have rounded the SPs for each of the unit's hexes that are not adjacent to any involved adjacent to a hex of an enemy in combat or hex can be is not adjacent.
Is it just me, or is Michael breaking up?
Nope, I cannot make head nor tail what he's saying.
Okay, I thought maybe it was my connection was going south.
I think
it's Michael's.
Hello, Michael, are you there?
Yeah. So
Yeah, your sound is clipping. We're getting the first portion of the syllable of a word, and then the rest of it is dropping off.
Yeah, not good. I can hear you fine, Eric. So.
Yeah, I can hear you too perfectly, David. So, yeah, but I know sometimes I've had issues where it's done funky things. Well, we can kind of go through this. So I've got 3 increments of infantry here. And so they're going to be halved because they're disordered. So they're going to be worth what? 2 points? And then this guy's got 6. So I got 8 points of infantry. This guy's worth 4. His combat effectiveness thing. His is 3. So the 2 of them are together 7. And then that averages out to 4. And then we've got the slope. That's going to subtract 2 from the attacker. So I'm going to have, I guess, 4 for my guy. And then we can take a look at Michael. He's going to have 6 for his, but he's got a -2 for going up the slope. So he's got 4, and I've got 4. His leader doesn't seem to add anything to it. So it doesn't look like there's going to be any pluses or minuses on the check. And he's got 5 increments halved. So that's going to be 3 to 8, I guess. So that's going to be 1 to 3 on the combat table. With no pluses or no minuses. Am I looking at that correctly?
I don't.
Yeah, because Rick, does that sound, did the mathematics sound correct there?
I'm not quite sure where you got the extra 2.
So I've got 3 increments of infantry there, and I've got 6 increments of infantry there. but these guys are halved because they're disordered. So 1.5 rounds up to 2.
Right. No, I'm talking about the pluses and minuses.
Okay, so so this guy is worth 4, right? And this guy is worth 3. And so we add the 2 together is 7, but we divide it.
Okay.
And so that
That's
works out to 4,
4.
right? This
Yeah.
guy's combat effectiveness is 6, but because he's attacking up the slope, the attacker subtracts 2. So then that just goes down to 4.
Yeah,
Right?
but then he also got +4 for charging.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that part. So yes, so then he'd have the +4 for the charge. So, but he's still at then 1 to 3 with a +4.
One to 3 +4. That's because.
Let's see if Michael's communicating with us. It looks like he's dropped out of Discord.
It could be restarting his machine.
Yeah, could be.
Or lightning.
Well, he is
tornado,
out there in
hurricane.
beautiful Texas.
Oh, well, then it's probably just power.
Could be.
It would be nice to all those Texans out there not say anything.
Yeah, they'll be laughing at us when we have some sort of fire or something like that. Then well, you're up there with what PG&E?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but I have solar and batteries, so I don't.
okay, so you're nearly impervious to any difficulties.
Yeah, people come over. Can we just come over and charge our phones? Well, oh my God, sure.
Well, there you go. Well, do you have an
Or
electric
just
car as
students.
well, or just the
I have a
battery
hybrid.
wall? Yeah, hybrid. Okay. Yeah. So we've got a hybrid as well, and then my son's got a electric car, but his he's got a charging station there at the apartment where he lives, so he keeps it taken care of over there.
Yeah, we still travel distances. Like I'll go down to Santa Barbara for my daughter, or we want to go snowboarding or something. So I need a hybrid. So
Yeah.
I feel comfortable with electric only yet.
Yeah, well, he's
Getting up there
done
though.
fairly well. Yeah, and considering what they charge for petrol half the time,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Oh yeah, at the end of the day, it's like your gas price to fill up your gas is probably the same that you'll be
All right.
putting down or leasing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Looks like Michael just sent a message over Discord there. I guess my internet has gone down or my computer has lost its mind. We had power issues earlier today thanks to some storms. Maybe that's it.
Well, yeah. So, do you want to roll for it? Seems to be internet, as a reboot didn't help, and I'm getting a warning on my phone that Wi-Fi isn't connected to the internet.
Okay.
So, I guess we could roll and this is, I mean, because this was the only combat, and then if we want to, we'll just save the game, or if you want to keep playing. But I think you've got all your commands done at this point, don't you, Michael?
Well, I got
mean,
one
David.
that's still got to go, but yeah, that's if we'll see what's. You want to respond back to him, or?
Yeah, I will send him a note.
Yeah, just send him the note saying David wrote at 12. Everything's fine.
Yep, cable modem has gone down. All right,
Oh,
so
no.
his internet connection is gone. Since he can't play Vassal over his phone, I guess.
Well, can't he use his phone as a hotspot?
Well, you could try.
I mean, this
Hotspot
doesn't
your
require a
phone.
lot of bandwidth, but he
Sure.
probably won't be able to do voice. But I mean, if it's an Apple versus Android, I don't know.
All right. Okay, so we've come up with 1 to 3 plus 4, huh?
Yep, a 1 to 3 plus 4. You're kind of odds.
Because
If anyone can pull it off,
well,
it's you, David.
I've got.
You've
So
got those
how
magic
many
fingers.
how many increments do you say you got?
I've got 8 increments to your
3.
3.
And it rounds in Defender's favor, right?
Well, everything rounds up, but yes, I mean, 8 divided by 3 is still not
Roll a
enough to be 1
0.
to 2.
All right. That's okay. Boom.
Oh, you rolled a 0.
Uh-huh.
A 0, 9. So the attacker loses 3. The defender loses 2. You're going to have a leader casualty potentially. And then we both do the M thing. So.
Yeah. So what do I take?
So you're going to take 3 losses, and I'm going to take 2 losses, so I can split it between the 2 infantry units. All right. All right, and then there's a leader casualty.
That's a single die?
A single die. A 0 through 3 is dead. A 4 through 9, no effect. A 6, so no effect. All right, and then it says rank all stacks by effectiveness rating using morale check G modifiers. Each stack makes a morale check in the rank order, worst to best. If the morale check is failed, the failing stack loses 1 SP and routes. If units are left to fight on both sides, refight the close combat, certain CC modifiers do not apply to refights. So,
check G.
G, yeah. So we got to look up check G. Morale check G.
Mine's going to be a plus 10 for 50%, plus 5 for disordered.
And then plus 7 for being for the army level. But then I think your leader has.
Yeah, he's got a little bit.
So he's a 6, right? No, he's 8, right? Minus 8. So you'll have plus 7 altogether. So that's going to bring your effectiveness rating up to 34. All right.
Let's see. G, do you get
Okay, and so then for my guys,
and you do not get the supported.
Who doesn't? Oh, it's
You
not.
don't.
It's not listed in that particular morale check, right?
Right.
I was going to say that actually it should be plus 14 for the Prussians because it's plus 10 for half dead, plus 5 for disordered, and then plus 7 for the army morale, minus the 8 for the leader.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Right?
So then that's going to be, so that's going to be plus 14, right? So then, he goes up to
whatever his printed
that's going to
value.
be then 41, right? 27 plus 14 is 41. Okay.
Sure.
So
all right.
then
So his
my
number is
guy,
41.
yeah. So my guy is 32, and then he's going to have a plus 3 for the army level, so that makes him a 35.
And you have, let's see, there is a.
And nothing for being outflanked or anything like that. So the flanking thing only matters, I think, on the initial pre-mailing morale check, not on level
Yeah,
G.
yeah, because now you're so engaged with the enemy that it doesn't matter. Now, and forgive me because I can't see what's happening. Did the other hex? What happened to the other hex?
What other
Because you've
hex?
got two hexes.
Yeah.
You have two defending hexes. They each need to be calculated.
Yeah, we're calculating
Yeah.
it.
But
Oh,
I make a
okay.
roll for each of them separately, correct?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. So the guy that's on the right, his morale is 35, and the guy that's on the left, his modified will be a 33. So you're going to make your roll first.
No,
you
he's
sure?
more than 33.
Oh, no,
He's
because he's disordered. So then that's going to
disordered.
be 38. Because that adds another
Okay.
5. So the guy that's on the right is the best with 35. The guy that's on the left is the second best with 38, and then the Prussians are the worst with a 41.
All right. So I have to roll first, right?
Yeah. So you roll first.
and of course he doesn't have to roll at all if you don't make it.
Right. So roll big.
82, that's pretty big. All right, so then this guy here that's on this side is going to roll, and he rolled big, and the guy that's here is going to roll, and he rolled big too. So we're back to where we were before, except you've only now got one increment attacking me. You don't get the +4 for the charge bonus anymore. And I've got...
Does he still get the slope, or is he considered a
the
monster
slope?
now?
The slope, I think, is...
Yeah, the
slope is
terrain
still
I
a
think
slope.
is still there.
Yeah.
But bear in mind that because we're in the second round of combat, you'll see over there in the close combat modifiers that actually infantry in line now has a positive benefit. So not only do the cavalry not get their benefits anymore, but infantry in line gets a benefit.
+2, I see that here.
Hmm.
So then I will have a +6, and the Prussians will have a and they're half dead, so they're going to be 2 off of their effectiveness rating. So that'll make them 4, and then they're attacking up the slope, so that's just +2 for them against the Austrian +6.
Now, how are you coming up with +6? Because you've got
so
two
they
different
are
stacks. You've got average them.
right. So one stack of mine is +4, and the other guy that's disordered is +3. So the average of those two is 4,
so it's a 4. Okay.
right?
All right.
And then we get the being in line, that then makes it +6.
6. Okay.
Right? And
All
then
right.
your cavalry is 6 normally, but it's half dead, so it gets knocked down to 4.
Right, 4 and then down to 2. So it's 1 to 3 minus 4.
Yep, 1 to 3 minus 4. Unless there's something worse for being even worse than -3.
I don't. Yeah, is there?
Because I still have 8, but now it's 8 to 1. So it's a 1 to 8 attack.
Yeah. Just looking. Because I do seem to remember something. Yeah, here we go. For each full ratio above 6 to 1, the attacker adds 1 to the die roll. For each full ratio below 1 to 3, the defender adds 1 to his die roll. Thus, 8 to 1 odds would add 2 to the attackers, or 1 to 4 would add 1 to the defenders.
Okay.
So if it's truly 1 to 8, then that would be +5 more to the defender.
Yeah. So then that's.
So you were 8 before. Why are you still 8? You took 2 losses.
Oh, you're right. So I've got 5 there +2, so I've got 7. So it's It's a 1 to 7 attack instead.
Wait a minute. How do you have 2 in the other hex?
How do I have 2 what in the other hex? Because I've got 5 increments between 2 hexes. Isn't the rightmost hex considered to have 3 in it, and the other one has 2 in it?
It's yeah. Well, I would think so, except
You're halved.
Except you're halved.
Right. So what is half of 3? It's 1.5, which then rounds up to 2.
Okay.
So unless we're going to say that hex,
well,
because it took the
I'm
loss.
Sorry. First of all, I was trying to explain something when my internet cratered, which I think is interesting, and I don't fully understand. But stay with me here. When I was reading on page 28,
right,
under the strength point calculation for multi-hex units,
right,
it made no accounting for whether there were enemy units there or not, which I thought was really weird.
Huh.
Because it seems pretty counterintuitive that your guys could just ignore these guys right on their front and still kind of participate in this close combat that's hitting you down at one end of your battalion.
Right.
And yet there's the rather lengthy explanation says that you should have rounded the SPs for each of the hexes that are not adjacent to an enemy unit involved in the combat, but it doesn't say anything about, their adjacency.
Yeah, it does.
Where?
It says in number 2.
Yeah.
Under 13.11a.
Yep. That's where we are.
It says have rounded the SPs for each of the unit hexes that are not adjacent to an enemy unit involved in the combat and are adjacent to a flank hex. They're not adjacent to a flank hex.
Yeah, they are. It is the flank hex of an enemy unit involved in the combat. They are adjacent to a flank hex. Now, I would submit that the fact that there's an enemy unit in that flank hex should do something, but that's not what it says.
Well, we didn't count it in anyway. So, I'm not.
I know that.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I wanted it to be clear that was a surprise to me, and we should have counted it before.
Right.
But I mean, it's moot because you rolled a 0-9 anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So then it's a
1 to 7. You're saying?
Yeah. So then it's a 1 to 7 with a -4. So then that becomes a 1 to 3 with a -8.
Perfect. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, David can roll a 0 again.
Yeah, but then we lose Meineke.
Potentially. He survived the combat, so he dodged the bayonet thrust.
Yeah, well, as long as he doesn't get the... but if the unit gets destroyed out from under him, he's gone too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this would have to be a special result where he only loses 1 increment. And he'd probably still get killed because when he routs, he's probably going to lose the last increment. So he's probably screwed.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and roll. See how much damage he can do. Maybe he can take out a bunch. A 91. No, that's not good. That is a surrender result.
Oh, high's bad.
So the 9 roll is the Austrian die, and the 1 roll is the Prussian die. So the difference is a +8.
I needed it the other way around.
Yeah. If it were the other way around, then it would have been...
Still would have been terrible.
Yeah. It would have been a 0 result. It still would have been bad at this odds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a surrender instead. So, yeah. So if you take a look up at the top of the The vassal module, you'll see there's the double die. There's a red die and a blue die. When we're playing this, when we roll for combat or whatever else, the red die is the Austrian die, and the blue die is the Prussian die.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that way
Now-
we know who's who, like for initiative and stuff like that.
Now, do both of his disorder? Because it's the second round?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So,
And does the one that's already disordered?
Would
is
be
that
shaken and
considered
disordered, right?
I think so. Let's double check. That's probably right. That's the sort of thing that happens quite often. Refights. At the conclusion of the final round of a refought combat, any remaining non-routed cavalry that are not already disordered or automatically disordered, any disordered cavalry units ignore this. That's just talking about infantry, cavalry units. I don't see it mentioning anything about infantry. Isn't that funny? I thought it was. I don't see it. The line becomes shorter. SPs moved, stacking, train, yeah, right. I do not see it say it about anything except cavalry units.
Well, that's the bulk of all of our combat's been cavalry units, so that's not surprising.
That is actually a fair point. Already disordered cavalry units ignore the additional disorder. Obviously, in this case, it's moot. But
Hey, did somebody accidentally hit the end turn marker? I've noticed that units that were leaders that were flipped are now proper side up.
Undo, 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 undo.
Yeah, undo. That was me.
Oh, okay.
I said sorry.
Oh, is
I
that
was
what you
trying
were
to
saying?
find the
Sorry.
charge button. Yeah.
It's not doing it.
It will. Keep going.
Okay,
going.
there
There
we
you
go. All right, so now we just have to. All right, all the hits are there. Okay.
All right. So Meineke goes to the graveyard.
Right, the unit goes to the graveyard, and my infantry gets flipped back.
Where does it talk about the second round of combat?
It's under refights. 14.5, specifically 14.5D on page 30.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to think I'm getting old. Having trouble keeping all this stuff in my mind.
Well, and now I'm reading these new rules on the ALAO stuff. I'm playing 3 rule sets for La Bataille. So, at this point, I'm just relying on you to tell me the rules for bar. I don't have enough brain space left.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. All right. Well,
which ALAO are you guys playing?
What's that?
Which ALAO are you guys playing?
So this new one that came in the. It's from Sound of Drums Games.
Okay, the Sound of Drums.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring it out to Tempe. Michael and I were going to play it, and it looks very interesting. It's got some different kind of fatigue stuff. It looks like he's borrowed some things from like American Civil War and a couple of other game mechanics type of stuff that other people have put out. So yeah, it looks good. And that's what Michael and I were chatting about before before we got started with all the fun here.
Right. Okay. Well,
All right, we're going to go ahead and
that was
save the game.
tremendously successful charge there. Really worthwhile.
Well,
You scared me off from charging now.
Well, I don't know. I was hoping for a lucky break because I could see that David's guys were getting pretty shot up, and I thought it could really help them out if I could chase off one or two of those stacks. But clearly, you don't count on the defender rolling a 95 on defensive fire, and so that clearly didn't do too well. But it's good. We did pick up a couple of rules that I just was not aware of, but I'm really glad to be aware of. No opportunity fire during charges, and continuing to exercise the weirdness around multi-hex close combats when you're not adjacent to the entire enemy unit. So all
Right.
kinds of weird. So good enough.
All right. Well,
Jeff-
we've saved the game, so that way then
Okay.
next Sunday we can pick it up where we left off.
Try it again, this time with feeling.
Yeah. No, we figured you might have had something going on with weather or power or something out there.
Well, it's funny because it was at about 5:30 when I mean to tell you, I can't recall ever feeling a breeze that strong. And I live in a neighborhood full of trees, and that had to be 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
It was like holy. And I'm standing outside because my kids are just bringing stuff from a festival they were just at. We were just loading stuff into the garage, and I'm like, holy smokes, I don't want to be outside.
Right.
And run inside, and then the wind comes crazy, and I don't know. And then the power went off briefly, came back on. I figured, the weather's done now. It's all gone. But obviously, whatever device my cable modem is attached to must have fallen over. So anyway, all good. We'll talk to you next week. I'm sure we'll be back in business, and we'll do another charge that will be a disaster.
Charge early, charge often.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
guys. Y'all have a good week.
All right.